Whoa! Oh my lord, he is taking line out. This is genuinely probably the biggest carp that I've had on this rod. Everyone, cross your fingers right now. Together we will do this. Oh yes, and it is a glorious time to be here to Old Burg, everybody. I mean, come on, look at this big old fort here. This is neat, and it's honestly a great location to go to after fishing at Elk Lake for so long. So many casts at Elk Lake going for different bass and crappie and bluegill and all that sort of stuff. Old Burg is a fun change of pace, and I cannot wait to show you more about it. And to learn more, we're going to take a look at our inventory before I explain what we're going to do for the day. So why don't you hit that like button, pack your tackle boxes, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's cast into it.
It's Bo Angles, the legendary Bo Angles.
Alrighty, Old Burg, I tell you what, we have talked about these darn feeder rods, how simple it is. Once you're here, you can go to the tackle store, you can go into your rods, go to kits, and down here, feeder fishing starter set. And the great thing about it is that this reel can be upgraded to 5.4 for only like, I don't know, $18 or something like that, really cheap. And for, I know it's 156 here, but it's 140 something in Elk Lake. So for a combined 160 or so, you get a great little starter feeder rod set that will put you right on the path here to Old Burg, honestly. With just 2 of them, I was able to work my way up and get a 3rd rod to fishing here. So you can use the workshop there, or you can get yourself a map from the administration building, or the cafe is over here that shows the different orders, and you can see the different fish that we've been catching: gibble carp, crucian carp, common carp, and of course the bream. The bream in Old Burg is the big one that will push you along your beginner series path. But let me show you a few locations. We'll show you some locations, but first let me show you my setup, because I do believe that this is important. We have been using, during the day you're fishing for carp at Old Burg, and during nighttime you're fishing for bream. You can fish for bream during the day and you will catch some, but you will catch crucian carp and gibble carp at the same time. And so if you're wanting to save your bait for more bream, you can just switch to diced potatoes, and that will save your bream mix and your pearl barley for the bream. The diced potatoes I've been saving for the carp. Otherwise, we've been using pearl barley, and then instead of this classic feed mix, you use this bream mix over here, and that has been catching a lot of bream. But now that I've kind of talked through my setup there, you can go back and pause and write down, or go purchase everything I was using there if you need to. This is one location over here that's been catching a lot of bream, but we're going to probably go to a different location, and I might regret it. Right here at 2167, and then just casting out with a 10 clip. So if you go into your rod and then you hit your line clip with your control minus plus, you can set it to 10 meters and then just cast straight out from 2167. And you will catch some good fish. Beautiful little full moon going on right now. We should be fishing, honestly. We've just lost an hour. But I'm going to show you another location that's been doing quite well. And to do that, I might have to speed it up to 20 times speed or something like that. But this other location is also great for bream and carp. So let's scurry on over there first. Alrighty, and over here around 5028 you can see there's these 2 bushes right here, and that kind of puts you in line with where you need to go, because you're going to be fishing right in front of one of these bushes. During the daytime, there is 2 really tall trees right there, you see, and they will shine down on the water. And if you just put all 3 of your rods in between those 2 tall trees right there, you will be pretty well set. You can see the fort over to the right of us, but otherwise, if you take a look at the map, we are fishing right here at 4828. It is a great location. You can see 2167 way over there. I have been catching carp over on the bridge over here at 2333, casting out along the margin. That's been another great location. But let's see if we can get ourselves some bream. I'm going to have to switch up my other rod here to put on my bream mix and my pearl barley. And I think that is all 3 rods should have bream mix and pearl barley now. So that will put us in a good spot. Let's just go ahead. I do have the 10 clip on these ones too. There's a cast around 55 to 60%. And I just place it down. Then we'll take our 4th rod and do the same. This is a shovel. Boom. And just like that, all 3 rods out. Pressing 0 to put it into a rod holder. This has been so much fun, honestly. From switching from casting constantly and constantly and constantly, sometimes you just get worn out, right? And you don't want to quit playing the game, but you just need a moment to relax. Maybe watch a TV show, maybe watch a movie. I was working on a painting the other day, and so I was over here on my other screen painting along. And then, you know, whenever I'd hear the jingle of the bells or whatever, I would switch and have a fish on. Yeah, it's just been a really nice change of pace. And not only that, but at Elk Lake, you know, we kind of started to struggle when it went to nighttime. And, you know, caught less fish fishing at night. Here, fishing for bream at night, fishing for carp during the day, it just feels like a better cycle of just consistently catching fish. So yeah, let's continue fishing, see what kind of bream we can muster for this night. Hopefully it's not too bad. Kind of making me worry without any jingles going on right now. We'll just have to see. Alright, that's definitely a definite take. So holding that control down and right-clicking does a little hook set, which has been very handy. Oh, we got one on the other rod too. So this is our first bream. Looks under a kg there. That's level 19 as well. So under a kg, they have this kind of white coloring. Luckily, I've had enough time. Every time I catch a fish, you know, I have enough time to throw it back out there and then reel in the next one. Been nice. Hopefully, we'll get into a kg bream here in a bit and show the other coloring that you're more likely, hopefully more likely to find. Getting some nibbles there. Oh, that always happens to me too. I have nibbles on one rod and I'm watching it and then another rod just takes off. This might be our first bream over a kg. Usually when I see it go from green to yellow on the pressure bar down below, you know, that's when I know that we're into a kg bream there. So top notch, we'll keep that guy. Toss it back out. A little cast to the left there. My casting with bottom rods isn't quite as good as my, you know, my spinning rods and whatever. It's a little inaccurate when I cast. But at the same time, I don't know if I should put points into feeder rods or not. Hey, nice 2 kg bream there. That's good. I want to make sure I show you kind of like an example of what it's like to fish at night for bream. And then I want to show you kind of fishing during the day for carp. And if it kind of goes back into another night of bream, I wouldn't be mad. I'm not sure how long everyone likes these videos to be, but I'd love if you do have a preference, tell me down below. It looks like we have another one on that other rod, that left rod. What do we got here? Oh, white bream. How about that? So the white bream actually have some pretty decent cafe orders sometimes. I was gonna say, I think there's a fish on this one. The line just started moving over to the left, and I honestly wouldn't surprise me if this is also a white bream. Sometimes, nope. Sometimes they do school up like that. It's kind of crazy. But, you know, it reminds you of real life in a little way. Another small one. Whoa, whoa, maybe not so small. What a surprise. Thought we had a tiny one on there, but it was really just the line. He had dropped back on us, I guess. Instead of pulling the line out and jiggling the bells, he instead brought it towards us, and so the bells never rang. But yeah, that's great. So we can go ahead and put more of our bream mix since we ran out of the one. This one's not as good. The last one was 8 out of 10 quality, and this one's 6 out of 10 quality. And by increasing that skill in making ground bait, you know, 5 points, you know, you're increasing your capability of making a quality ground bait. And so when you're putting so much money into all these components, you want to make sure that you make a good ground bait. You know, you don't want to waste it all. You know, that all costs money. So I think putting 5 points into ground bait is probably a good move. You know, because it's only 5. And then after that, you're really just leveling up and then unlocking more components to add into your ground baits. But I would love to hear, as far as skills go, you know, we are bottom fishing, and I have the 3 from the spinning fishing that we were doing. I put 1 into bottom rig, And I'm not sure if that was a good move either, but I'm like hesitant to put points into feeder rods or anything else, honestly. I'd love to hear from you, those of you who are experienced in RF4, you know, what skills in bottom fishing do you recommend putting points into? I don't want to put a bunch of points into feeder rods if then like the next move's to get a carp rod or something like that, you know? And on the other side of that, I don't want to wait to put points into a carp rod if, you know, we're hardly ever going to use a carp rod until, you know, way in the future or something like that. So, yeah, I'd love to hear more. All right. So as it gets closer to like 6 a.m., right around there, 7:30 maybe, I might start switching out some of these rods to put diced potatoes on it. It's just fun, I think, to catch the carp during the day. And there are some pretty, whoa, good size fish. Good size fish. There are some pretty decent cafe orders for carp. Every once in a while, you'll have a cafe order for a 3 to 4 kg carp come on for 30 or 40 bucks, which isn't bad. Otherwise, they're just kind of a fun fish to catch. It was bending like crazy, but the fish really isn't even that big. Oh, that's awesome. Well, some nights this is kind of how it feels. It's just constantly putting rods, you know, reeling them in and throwing them back out, and just over and over and over again. And other nights it's a little bit slower, like the one we just experienced. But yeah, it's fun, honestly. I think I hit on the idea that, like, you know, you're watching a show or maybe doing a little bit of work on the side while you wait for bites, but sometimes there's times where, you know, you meant to send someone an email or something like that, and you type in 4 or 5 words, and then you get a bite, and then you reel him in. Oh, nice, another white bream. And then you go back to your email and type another 6 words or something, and then you get another bite. And it almost is like a hindrance. You can't finish what you started because you just get so many bites during the night of the bream. It's fun. Right. So as the morning goes on, we might start getting to other species here. Fish on. And that's what you start to catch on the pearl barley anyway. So we might keep that other one as pearl barley. But these other rods, we are going to switch out with some of this ready-made ground bait. We're going to throw on some diced potatoes and do the same thing with this one. Ready-made ground bait, 9 out of 10 quality. Hey, not bad. Diced potatoes as well. And then we are going to take these 2 rods. Ooh. Fish on. Start seeing that line move. We didn't have the bells jingling, but I saw that line moving to the side. And honestly, it's not a bad idea to catch crucians and gibbles. There are some cafe orders for them, and, you know, we can catch bream along the way. So, like I said, I always throw one of my 3 rods out with pearl barley, because, you know, catching a crucian or a gibble or a bream every now and then is not bad. But with my other 2 rods, I have them set up for carp, just because it's fun to catch a nice sized carp. Throw that out there, and they give some decent XP as well. Both of those out there, and then we have our 1 bream rod. Nice little setup during the day. Oh, jingle jangle on the pearl barley again. Pearl barley going off here. Yeah, the bites on the pearl barley are more consistent, I think, anyway. Unless you get into some really good runs of carp. Another good reason to have that pearl barley, unless I've already said it, is just that kind of kills the boredom of sitting here waiting for carp. Yeah, have that pearl barley rod there just to catch something more frequently is a nice little change up compared to the other ones. But when you do get into a nice sized carp, though, it is exciting. Like it's a big fish compared to the bream, that's for sure. All right, our first on the carp rod. Oh, picked up the wrong one. There we go. Now that's a proper carp. Good deal. So someone did tell me, I think it was my brother actually, he read somewhere that, you know, holding the rod up, and I know I saw a comment telling me this too. Oh, you. I saw a comment telling me this too, that holding the rod up, you know, constantly right clicking, actually decreases your energy faster. You're constantly putting strain on yourself by trying to pull up against him. Pearl barley rod going. I think before I pick that up, I'm gonna other in a little bit. Get a little bit tighter. Good size, whatever it is. And so, instead of constantly right-clicking to hold that rod up, oh, it's bream too. Nice. Can't get mad at that during the day, that's for sure. They're more active at night, it seems, but catching them like that during the day, please, keep it coming. You can keep your energy high by just working the rod against the fish without right-clicking or without reeling. You know, in other fishing games, Fishing Planet, for instance, like, it can be pretty easy to lose the fish sometimes without right-clicking. But in Russian fishing, it's actually, you know, it's fairly safe to not do that. You can just kind of work against the fish, you know, which way it's going, angle the rod, and we'll get towards you. Of course, you gotta lift it up at the end to kind of swing it towards you, or, you know, use the net or whatever. But yeah, it works. It does. You gotta try it out. If you're constantly, you know, holding the rod up, give it a try without doing it. Whoa! Oh my lord, he is taking line out. You know, my brother broke a few reel mechanisms on his rods from, or these reels, you know, from the carp. And it's yet to happen to me, but I'm saying that and hoping not to get jinxed, because I could see it happening with some of these carp. Haven't had one do it yet. And it will kind of let you know if it's if it's possibly happening. If you see down below with that spool there of line, there's a icon next to it that has a fire and a kind of a gear circle. That is your that is the game telling you that your mechanism and your reel is under a lot of stress. So we are going to actually kind of shimmy our way towards the fish to try and take some of that stress off of the mechanism, and hopefully not lose the fish in the process. This is genuinely probably the biggest carp that I've had on this rod. I'm just reeling in and working my way towards the fish right now. He's of course getting tired. He's been working his way to the left towards our rods again. I am not lifting up on the rod here. I'm just pointing it in the opposite direction that he's heading to have lots of tension on him. Now he's moving in the opposite direction. So we will pull in the opposite direction. Just making sure that there's tension on the rod and the line, but otherwise not holding the rod up. Go left again. I'm going to take this opportunity to get a bit of line. He is taking some runs, isn't he? I have a feeling this guy's definitely going to be over 5 kgs because I've caught a number of 4 kg carp, and they've never done anything like this before. Biggest my brother has caught so far is 11 kgs. You know, at level 18 or whatever. Like, that's a fun fish to catch. So I'll be curious what this guy is. It might just be our largest fish we've caught to date. If we can keep him on, of course. Knock on wood. Everyone, you know, cross your fingers right now. Together, we will do this. I feel like I can sort of see the shape of him through the water every once in a while. Curious what my other rods are doing right now. Another carp just absolutely taking the line out of one rod until it breaks or something like that. You can see our energy is low, so we're gonna drink some coffee. Get that energy back, hopefully. Fight this fish. Could have been paying more attention to that energy bar earlier. Feel like I can hear the jingle of a bell off in the distance. Have another fish on right now. Not sure if drinking another coffee would help. We might try it. So yeah, I still forget to look at my energy bar, but I need to look at it more often when I catch these big fish. I think it's literally that I just haven't caught enough of these big fish to, you know, in my mind, mentally be looking at that energy bar and making sure that I'm not getting too low. You can see how, since our energy has gotten into the yellow, we're now getting line in on this fish. We have more strength to work with, our character. All I can say is by drinking this much coffee, if this was Ark Survival, I have no doubt he'd be nearing a poop right now. Right, our energy is about halfway now, and this carp getting a lot closer to us than he has been in the past couple minutes. Might start to see its dorsal fin sticking up here. There we go, there's a dorsal. Definitely a common carp. Oh yeah, man. Exciting. Alright, we're gonna pull just enough to get him towards us here. Get the net out. Get in, bud. Get in, bud. Look at that. Look at that. So for me, that is exciting. That is our biggest fish to date, 6.669 kgs. That is over 13 pounds, I can tell you that much, but I know it's more, probably 14, 15 pounds. 5,334 total XP on this guy. That is fantastic, and we might sell him for a good little amount as well. But I tell you what, just from fishing for those bream, just consistently, you know, under a kg to a kg to 2 kgs, mixing it up during the daytime and fishing for these carp is so exciting, and the models are just, they're just splendid, aren't they? Look at the scales on them and this light shining off of it. Gotta love them. Gotta love the models in RF4, and it's so nice that they have variations to make it exciting, you know? Just by seeing it as you're reeling it in, you know you have, you know, a carp that weighs this much or a bream that weighs this much, because you can see the variation, the size and whatnot. Fish on. Makes you wonder how long it's been on. We have fish on both of them, honestly. This is a little common carp. I think we just lost it. No, we didn't. Okay, right on. Caught the big guy and came back to 2 other fish on. A bream and a common carp. Top notch, everyone. Well, it's getting into the noonish area, afternoon here, but I'm glad I was able to show you some nighttime fishing for bream, some daytime fishing for carp and whatnot, and just to end this here on something that I did to work my way up to this point. If we take a look at the skills, our harvesting baits is at 25%. Our making ground bait is at 32%. I actually used a little guide online that kind of showed me what to use to level up my making ground bait skill. So essentially, let me just head back to Old Burg, the fort, so I can show you exactly what I got. All right, back at the fort now. So if you are between 0% and 15% on your making ground bait skills, 0 to 15%, you are going to do something really simple. You are going to go into the store here. You're going to type in cracker. You're going to buy a bunch of these. I'm going to buy one just to show you what we're doing here, but buy 10 portions, buy 20 portions, what have you, whatever money you have available to do this. You're going to go into your feed. You're going to go to ground bait, put in that ground crackers there, and make this. And this is going to increase your skill. It might not increase my skill. Well, it did. Okay, so now we're at 32.4. But you're going to continue making this very simple recipe, crackers, and make ground bait. Just do it over and over and over again until you get to 15%. Once you get to 15%, you can continue to do it, but the amount of times that you get this 0.2 added onto your skill might decrease. So it's easier to just go to another recipe that will have a better chance of you increasing your skill. So to go to the next recipe, what you're going to do is actually leave Old Burg and go to Winding Rivulet. So let's do that. All right, so we have the administration building right there, and if we walk over here to the farmer's market, you will see that there is homemade products feed, and buying this feed is your next thing. You are going to go from 15 to 30% making this feed, and honestly, it's really darn good. That is what I've actually been using, not the ground crackers. So if you buy a portion of this and you go back into your ground bait, you can put in that feed there, make this. Boom shakalaka, you've got your ready-made ground bait, and that's with the feed, and you can see we went up by 2 as well. So you are going to make that until you get to 30%, and once you do that, you will be where I am right now. You will be able to make the bream mix by throwing in the pearl barley, throwing in the maggots, the millet porridge. Where do you get all that? Let me show you. You can go to the tackle store, and go into here, and you can type in maggots. You can buy the Helen Van Zant maggots, and then the millet porridge is right here as well. So you're going to buy some of that as well. Those two things together with that anise oil and the pearl barley is going to make the bream mix. And it makes it really simple. You know, if you go into the feed there, click on bream mix, it shows you everything you need. So that is kind of how you put that ground bait together. Pearl barley though, how do you create that? You are going to have to go into your crafting, and you'll see pearl barley listed here. This is actually a harvesting baits skill tree sort of thing. So feel free to make wet bread by just buying some bread at the grocery store and making that. The potato cubes you're actually going to get from the same farmer's market we just got the feed from. So right here you can see potatoes, and you'll buy some potatoes and you should be able to easily craft some potato cubes. Of course, the time we try to do it, we're unsuccessful. Boom, like that, and we got 31 pieces of diced potatoes there. Very nice. We'll keep that guy. The pearl barley, though, I'll show you. You go to the grocery store, as soon as you're able to make pearl barley, I should say. You go down here to pearl barley, you're gonna buy yourself a bag or 2 or 10 or whatever it may be. And then, just like the diced potatoes, you're gonna go into crafting, go to pearl barley, and make. And just like the last one, we get 31 pieces. We increased our harvesting baits, and now this is actually what we've been using throughout the video for the bream, right? On our one, I don't know which rod it is. Not that one. Not that one either. All right, third time's the charm, nature pearl barley. That is what we've been using for bait for the bream, and you're also going to use it in the bream mix, right? So I hope this gets you along the right path, right? If we go into the bream mix, oh shoot. I'm messing up in my own video. You actually get the pearl barley from the tackle store as well. Dang it. So yes, down here in Groundbait, you have pearl barley. You know what? I'm just gonna make it for you. That way I can make sure that I do it right in the video. So the millet porridge and the maggots. There we go. Then we can go into feed. We can go to bream mix. It already has everything in there because we already bought everything, I guess, so it just puts it in there to make it easy for us. Make it just like that. 6 out of 10 bream mix, and then you'll throw that bream mix on your feeder. So you throw your bream mix into your feeder here, and you should be good to go. Now you will make quite a lot of things, so I thought I would show you this as well. You will make a lot of bait trying to get these levels up, so if you want to delete everything you don't want, you can easily click on this blue arrow down here, and then just like at the cafe or whatever, you can select multiples of these and then delete them all at the same time. So I can hit this little trash can here and it will throw it out, and we're done. And actually, if you select a bunch of things, it'll actually force you to type in a code to make sure you really want to delete all those. But yeah, I tell you what though, that I hope gets you on the right track for fishing at Old Burg and the next step on your kind of RF4 journey. I feel like I've been thorough. If I haven't been, ask me in the comments. And of course, if you have any additional tips you want to share with your fellow angler, make sure you comment that down below as well. It's always good to see comments from people trying to be helpful, and that's the one great thing about RF4 I've seen, is that the people in this game have been super helpful. And I'm learning along the way. My brother's been playing along with me. It's been fun, fishing with him at the same time. So, yeah, I hope this has been enjoyable. If it has, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to join the channel. Trying to keep growing this channel. I know, if I look at my statistics, over 50% of the people that watch our videos don't subscribe. So if you could hit that subscribe button, if you've been holding back, it'd mean a lot to me anyway. Helps out everything. Right, Bjorn? Anywho, take care, everyone. We'll see you if you want to join us. Our live streams every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30. We play some Russian Fishing 4 every so often nowadays. So I'd love to see you there. But until the next episode, take care. And as always, remember, everyone,
We're one planet, one family. Game on.